Hey everybody, Radioactive here, and today I have a really interesting cylinder for you. Yep, back to Hammershot content. Today, we have this cylinder. Now, it does look a little bit odd right now, but that's because I do not have the brass installed. So I'm going to go over how to cut and install one of the barrels, and then we're going to jump cut to the barrels being dry and ready to go. So, let's get rid of this for now. Figure out where I'm going to put this. We'll set it right there. Alright, so now we have our 1730 seconds brass. Just open it up. And now we have a good set of a good brass bit to work with. Now, I've already done this step just because it's so long to do. But I have some 1730 seconds right here that I've scored the end of. Now, I think this is actually, it's a little bit less than a foot. So this brass, don't know exactly why I decided it was going to be this tool. But you do these scores because it basically acts as a sanding stick for your barrel type of choice. So you can sand just like this. It goes all the way down. You can sand printed barrels or printed bits that barrels are supposed to go in with this. So now we're going to take this bit and very lightly taper this edge, not a lot, just to cut down or sand down any raised bit. Make sure we have the right material. That's interesting. Did I not cut it down enough? This is 1730 seconds. Pretty sure. There we go. Make sure it can go all the way down. Now, I believe that I have marked this as being about 70. But, and this is a very interesting way for you to do it. You put your barrel in, you make a cut or a score right there, remove it, and you basically have your cut line already started. But right now, and I'm sorry if you can hear this in the background, but my 3D printer is currently working on a mega cylinder. So, just for future reference, let's check. Yep, that's 70.5 millimeters. 70.4. So that's what you are going to end up going for. Take this. Where's my cutter? I have this big old dude. Let's find our scored area. I put it in the wrong side. Line it up. Make sure that it is exactly, yep, it is. So now, very simple pipe cutting. Now we don't want to, I think this has gone a little bit dull on me. I might have to get a new one. So I'm having to really slowly cut off this little extra bit here, just to make sure that I've got a good set. And I am seeing, actually, the end of this barrel is just a little bit, that's why I wasn't going in as easily. This end of the barrel is just a little bit, what's the word I'm looking for? Huh, that's crap. So it is actually squish just a little bit in this direction. Let's see if we can do this by hand. That's why it wasn't going in quite as easily. I'm not seeing any real changes. It's unfortunate. Oh, it did go in easier. That's a plus. Press it all the way down in there. Make sure it is completely flush with the bottom. And we do have a little bit of the brass coming out the top. We can easily fix that. So, here, the way I do this is take out your big file, run this on the run the cut edge on here. Yeah, make sure you got real nice flat area. Work out the burr on the side. Verify. You want to keep verifying. You want to make sure that you have the right length. That looks to be pretty flat. I'm going to hit it with a couple more. Maybe on both sides, actually. Just to make sure that the factory cut is, in fact, nice. And it's not super nice. So we're going to hit it. Both sides. Get rid of the burrs again. Both sides this time because we have done both sides. Now you could cut this, you could measure it out to like 68 or 69. Nice. And it'd still be the correct, it'd still be hidden well, but I want to get this perfect. So let's figure out which one's our bottom. Which one's the top? I can't quite tell. Wonder if I can tell which side. Yeah, okay, so this is going to be our top. Press it down in. Make sure it gets to the bottom. Verify. Oh yeah, that's really nice and flush now. Alright, so now that we have our piece of brass here, we are going to... So I kind of messed up a little bit. We're going to take our reaming tool. Now, I have a couple of different reaming tools, but the way I like to do it... let me find it. Here it is. This isn't exactly a reaming tool, it's more like a, the word is escaping me right now. It is pretty late. I am getting this video prepared pretty late. At least this first part where I do all the brass work. Because the video I was planning on doing tomorrow has been pushed back. Stuff outside of my control. So we're going to take this this reamer and this brass and just run it on the inside here. Do the same on this side. You can press pretty hard. You're not going to flare out the brass with this tool. Knock all your brass shavings off. Feel down inside there. I'm still feeling a burr. On this side, also still feel a burr. So what I do here is I take my X-Acto and I kind of make sure not to actually touch the inside of the barrel itself. I just kind of run this along the inside. Feel around again. That feels pretty good. Get this side. Feels pretty good. Let's take a dart. And that's a nice fit. That feels tighter. Let's look at it. Yes, there is a little bit of a decrease in the size here. So we're going to take our needle nose pliers and kind of run it around the inside. We're not trying to like flare it out a lot, which you can. We're just trying to undo the damage that cutting it with our big old pipe cutter did. I think that's good. Let's verify. That's an interesting sound. I don't like that. Verify. We're gonna hit it again with this to try and get that kind of crunch out. Hit it with this again. So I'm actually going to do something very interesting here. So this X-Acto is really, it's seeing the last days of its life at this point. So I have this cylinder here and this screw in the front of the cylinder. This basically acts, if you can do it right, basically acts as a sharpener. Now it's not going to get you super sharp, but it's going to sharpen up the X-Acto just a little bit. That's just a little bit of a trick that I've picked up on. Test again. I don't like that. Test. Oh, that's not going in very much. This side goes in a lot further. Gonna hit it with the needle nose again. With a little more pressure. And now that's flared out a little bit. So. Interesting. And now we are going to once again come back to here and try and knock down that ridge a little bit that we have created on this piece of brass from flaring it out. We have done that a little bit on the side as well, so just hit it once. We're going to verify for the last time, and now you're going to get used to this, and you're going to pick up on ways to improve it. But I'm just kind of going through all the steps needed. That's pretty good. That is really flat, making use of all of the space available. Very good. Let's test this. So this is a rear load compatible. I'm not going to show you how to do the rear load mod, but it is rear load compatible. Cool. Let's knock that out of the front. Now, I have this dart out here because we are going to kill some darts. You can use cutoffs of foam. You can use elite darts that you don't really like, but we are going to have to kill it. Take out your foam for the last time. Figure out which side is the back of it. This is the back of mine. And you're going to shove in foam and then kind of work the back side out a little bit. You can use other tools to do this. Yep, that's backed out pretty much. Put this off to the side. You may want to figure out something to hold this upside down. I'm going to use, maybe I shouldn't use that. Don't really have anything handy currently. I'm going to use one of my outlaw spacers. Oh, and I just knocked it over. Yeah, that works. So, let's figure out which barrel we want to use. Doesn't matter much to me. We can use this one. Put it in, that makes it easier for you. Find your glue of choice. Now, this just has to seal it. It is pretty friction fit, in there, but you do want to glue it down just so it has a good seal and everything. Undo this. Oh, it's got that. It's still nice and wet. Put a big old glob in there. And now one big old glob is probably all you need. However, we're not just doing a glob. We're also going to take a little piece of foam and kind of spread it around the entire bottom of this. Again, we're just trying to make sure that we have a good seal. Yeah, that'll be a nice good fit. So usually, if you'd have multiple ready, you could just continue to use this and continue to lather. We're actually just gonna throw that away, and that's stuck to a wire. That's great. And now we press. We can spin this a little bit if we want to. And press it all the way down. Leave no space. Press. I think it could be pressed a little bit more. Yep, that's pretty flat on there. That's good, that's good, that's good. Alright. And so normally we would continue to do this, and I will do that off screen. But right now, you have your barrels. Put it on your pedestal upside down. Don't knock it over and get glue everywhere. Yeah, you're gonna need something bigger. Actually, I guess that worked. You'll normally need something bigger, or else it'll just fall over to the side the brass is on. But yeah, you just let it sit. I'm only going to be able to let it sit for probably 12 hours. Ooh, excuse me. Probably 12 hours. Less than 12 hours while I sleep. And then I'll come back. I'll finish up the video. I'll do FPS testing. And we'll be good. In this case, I have to be really careful to not get glue on other barrels just yet. Alright, so I'll get back to you once all the barrels are done and cured, and we're going to do regular barrel installation and FPS numbers. Now that all the brass has been put into the cylinder, this looks pretty nice, doesn't it? We're now going to push the glue so it doesn't get in the middle of our barrels here. We're going to push these out the bottom. Oof. These can sometimes be pretty difficult to do. Do I have another thing I can use? Yes I do. Here it is. Okay. I'm going to use this. And you just press them out the bottom here. Should take most of the glue with it, but it won't take all. So we will have to come back in here and post-process, basically, the glue. Alright, now these are dead. You can use them as backstops again at some point in the future. I'm weird. I keep hold of them. Now you see we have all this glue on the very bottom. Let's just pick at it and pull all of it off. You could probably hit the bottom of it with some sandpaper or something to pull all these little bits and pieces off the bottom of it. There's a whole bunch of glue actually on the inside as well. I'm not too bothered by it, honestly. But you can probably go in with a, I don't know, probably hit it with a polisher of some description. Excuse me. So now what I'm going to do, I'm actually going to take this reamer that we had before, and I'm going to hit the bottom of each of these barrels. I'm not doing a lot. I'm just trying to get a tiny bit of a taper in there. This will also help pull off some of that glue. Again, not a lot. Get rid of all this mess. Now let's see if there is any glue that we still feel the need to get rid of. Yeah, some right there. Some right there. I'm gonna hit it with this X-Acto knife. Try and get some of that out of there. This might take a minute. So you basically get the idea of this. So we're going to cut here until I get all this out the back of it, and then we'll go into our installation. Alright everybody, now that I have the cylinder completely put together, let's get our blaster. Remove the cylinder. Now this is the same Hammershot that I have been using every time. So we have the basic upgrade kit, the Dead Space filler cap kit. It's the full kit with the max length spacer. We're going to take our rotator here, make sure it fits in, make sure there are no artifacts. I didn't make sure there were no artifacts. Ooh, excuse me. So we're going to do that so it doesn't get stuck. Pretty simple. Just cut them off. Ooh. Make sure there's nothing intruding into these channels. If there is, then you could have rotation issues. Ow. Okay. And we are actually going to hit this with lube straight from the start, because I do not want to have to open this again. So, let's hit it with some lube on the tips of each tooth and in the channels. Alright, that should be good. Alright, now we take our rotator, put it in, get our screw, drop it, and screw it in. Now, you do not want it to be super tight. You will strip the plastic. You just need it to be tight enough that it's not wiggling around too much and causing problems. Now, we're going to put the cylinder in. No, we're not actually, because this is a rear load compatible cylinder. I have said before I'm not doing the rear load mod. I believe I have, yes I do. So this is one of the rear load covers, basically. I get mine off Thingiverse. There's a really good file for it. But because this is rear load, I'm going to simulate you being able to rear load it. So, gonna shove in our half darts from the back. Give it about 1 millimeter of space from the back of the cylinder. You want just enough room for the foam gasket to work super well. That's 7 and 8. Now, you need to be really careful if you decide not to go for the rear load mod, because you can push these down too far. So you just need to be wary of that. It could block rotation. Alright, let's put it all together. You will be sitting through this, or you could just skip ahead. I haven't gotten super good at the whole time-lapse thing yet, so you're going to be sitting here with me. Now, I really like the look of this cylinder. Oh, that feels like a really tight cylinder. Yikes. This might be even tighter than the 16 shot that I did. But we'll put it all together and we'll see. Oh yeah, that's a little tight right there. Why is it so tight? It could just be seal tightness. Hopefully it works. I don't have to open this up again. Now, I would honestly expect like 100, 110, maybe even 120 FPS with what we have now in here. I don't think you can expect much more from these short barrels. You'd need something longer. Alright, now that we have this all put together, Oh, that was a great seal. Just testing it pushed this dart all the way back up. I'm going to try and push it down about to the bottom. Alright. Oh yeah, that's fine rotation. And we're now going to test. Hopefully I can line this up right. 113. Oh. $108 or 100.8, sorry. 102.2, 101.9, 102, 98.8, 99.6, 115.3. All right. Again, this is stock spring. You could probably get a little bit higher. Shot memory. So here's what we got. We got 113.4, 100.8, 102.2, 101.9, 102, 98.8, 99.6, and 115.3. So we're going to now try and shove in. Oh, that stung my hand. I need to get a better backstop than just my fingers. Now we're going to shove in elite darts, because this is an elite or a full-length cylinder. We're going to shove them in. At this point, as far as we can, you can't actually overload unless you're like really trying to push these things in there. Now, just doing this just to get a good comparison. These are 17/32 barrels, and if your seal is good enough, you could probably do something called a timing ring. So timing rings, they're very similar to tightening rings in a 9/16 type of barrel. So what they do is they crush the dart slightly so that the release pressure is higher. So acceleration through the barrel is higher. Now this works really well for front loaders, single shots, that kind of deal. Doesn't really work for mag feds, simply because you'd have to push and feed the darts through the crushed bit. Alright, now we have all of our darts seated. I'm going to torture my hand again. Rotation is perfect. That's always nice to see. 99.4, 91.5, 98.6, 104.5, 108.1, 101, 98, and 95.9. Alright, we got all of our darts. Shot memory. 99.4, 91.5, that was low for some reason. 98.6, 104.5, 108.1, 101, 98, and 95.9. Now we're getting into the really good numbers here. So, yes, this is the 8-shot brass cylinder upgrade. Is rear load compatible. Is compatible with the, obviously, the Dead Space filler mod that I've done, and intermediate upgrade kit. If you follow my mods perfectly, you'll get about 110 FPS with half darts rear loaded. You can get this cylinder, just the files at this point in time. There's a lot of work I have to do for this brass, and it wouldn't be cheap because, well, brass isn't cheap. It uses 2 foot-long lengths of 17/32 brass. You don't need to buy more unless you're wanting to make another cylinder. I really do like the look of it. It feels nice. You can get the files on my Etsy, Radioactive Designs. All the links for everything, like usual, are going to be in the description. This has been Radioactive. You have a